YouTube, holy crap, I'm back. Man, if my voice is a little bit shot too, I've been out on travel and I work in a cold warehouse when I'm traveling, and I was having to explain a bunch of stuff in cold temperatures in a rather loud room. So yeah, my voice is probably a little more grizzled than usual. Man, I'm excited to be back. I actually had my laptop with me. I expected to be recording this stuff while I was out, but I was having issues for some reason. Like, nothing would record. Like, Shadowplay wouldn't work, XSplit wouldn't work. Nothing would record Warhammer properly. Like, other games would record right, but Warhammer wouldn't. And I don't know what the deal was. I came home, it records fine on here, so I don't know if there's like a hardware or a driver issue. I haven't been able to find it, but that's why I couldn't record unless you wanted to watch like a 5 frame per second video. But that's the weird thing, is like the game was running fantastic. It was just the recording that was coming out odd, and it's never done that to me before because I've recorded plenty of Warhammer on that laptop. I'll figure out what the fix is, and if I can't get that laptop to work, I'll get another one, because obviously I feel bad. Like, the whole purpose of me buying that laptop is so that I can bring you content while I'm on the road. So I do apologize. I know some of you will be like, Air, you were traveling, there's nothing you can do about it. And I appreciate that, but I pride myself in bringing you all content pretty much nonstop. And to go 2 days without bringing you content, and when it was like a DLC release, I feel bad because I know that a lot of you are depending on me to bring you information about the DLC and everything else. And so, like I said, I apologize. I'll make sure that I'm better prepared going forward, because that one kind of caught me off guard. I didn't do any tests ahead of time, but I'm here. I'm excited to show you some stuff. The Realm of the Woodelves. Pretty darn excited about it. Let's talk about a few things real quick in this video. Let's look at their campaign real quick. I was asked to not make more than one video. They said you can stream it all you want. Unfortunately, I can't stream. But I was asked to just make it one video before release day. Now, tomorrow is release day, so tomorrow night I'll go ahead and record a bunch more videos. Now, of course, while you're watching this, tomorrow night will probably be like today for you, that I'll be recording things. Then I have to upload it, of course, so be patient because my upload speeds are crap. We got the Season of Revelation campaign, and if we take a look at it, here's kind of your mini map. So it's kind of like zoomed up more into the realm of Bretonia. You can pick either faction here. Looks like the initial challenge is similar. You have Woodelves and then Arguelon. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, someone please correct me. They'll be slightly different. I'm not going to talk through a lot of the differences here. Obviously, the Woodelves are the one that Orion would kind of be the main leader for, and then Arguelon, I believe, is the one that Durthu is going to be the big-time leader for. But yeah, they have... looks like different start positions, because you start there in that realm, and I'm looking at this one. Yeah, they have different start positions. So that's kind of cool. I don't know who all's in this. We can just, we'll look at this another day. I don't want to spend my time talking about this particular campaign at the moment as much as I want to focus on the faction itself. Like, what are the Woodelves? What do they feel like in terms of a faction, so that you have a better idea of, okay, yeah, that campaign sounds fun, or hey, they sound fun in multiplayer. So that's really what I'm going to focus on at the moment. Now, obviously, you can play these guys in the grand campaign there too, and it's going to show you their start position. Again, you have both factions, so slightly different start positions for the two, but pretty similar, all focused in that wooded area that you previously couldn't pass through on the campaign map. So that's what they look like on the campaign map. Again, I know I'm not covering that in great detail. I will be doing a Let's Play with the Elves, and we'll make sure and cover plenty of that. But let's go into the custom battle roster, and let's have a little chat about their faction. I'm going to go ahead and preface a few things so that you understand. I have had probably only an hour or two to look at these guys. I haven't had a lot of time to tinker with them in a lot of different situations. I mostly took their units and tried them up against Empire units that I felt like would be an interesting match for them. So that's what I know about them so far. What I can tell you probably mimics what Creative Assembly's already mentioned, which these guys are a glass cannon. They don't have a lot of staying power, like in terms of defense and holding and all that other kind of stuff. They are a ranged attack faction that moves at high speed with interesting specialty units that is meant to pick apart and dismantle their foes one by one or bit by bit, or in a piece, in kind of a hit and run type fashion. They're not meant to be a faction where you come screaming in a melee rush and just overpower your opponent. I think there's going to end up being a lot of different strategies the Wood Elves are capable of, because they have a lot of, their roster is pretty full. And they have some very interesting units, and I think that given time to test them properly, people are going to find interesting units, or interesting uses for them. Let's talk through some of these units real quick. I'll give you a talk through, and then we're going to go play a couple of battles with them so you can see them in combat and get some good stuff going there. So, Glade Lord here. So you have a Glade Lord, and then like this other one that is a Glade Lord but kind of looks like a lady. I don't know if it actually is, like if we go look on the screen. But so what's the difference between these two? There's a slight cost difference. Well, they are actually exactly the same in terms of statistics, and the only thing that's different is abilities. This Glade Lord here has Call of the Woods, which is going to give a constant +8 melee attack bonus to anything in a 30-meter radius. It's a pretty small radius, but I mean, 8 melee attack is pretty nice. And there's no like stipulations on it. Like it's there as long as he's there. You can see they're very fast and they're a duelist. This unit is a hybrid. It is a hybrid melee hybrid bow, and their bow attack is pretty potent. This unit could kite around enemy lords or heroes because of its high speed, and they're going to do some pretty significant damage. You can see they have 30 ammunition with magical attacks, and the missile damage is pretty significant. It's not a huge amount of armor piercing, but it does some armor piercing damage. And versus, say, an enemy hero or lord who doesn't have a lot of armor, it's going to be particularly devastating. The range on it is only 160, so I mean, somewhat limited range, I guess. But I mean, honestly, like I wish a unit like a Witch Hunter or something like had this kind of range, because then they would be a lot more useful. Same thing with like the Master Engineer. This is going to be an interesting unit. You can mount them on a number of different things. One would just be an Elven Steed. And if you take a look at what's different there, the Elven Steed is basically going to give them more hit points, more speed, more charge bonus. As you mount them up to the next level, it would be a Giant Eagle. The Eagle's more hit points, again, more speed all the way up to 110. But you start to sacrifice attack and defense. You're going to pick up some charge or some weapon strength and melee, and some charge bonus. But otherwise, again, most of the stuff stays the same. You're going to pick up the fear ability here as well. And then I'm trying to say, okay, hide in forest. Obviously, an eagle can't hide in the forest. So yeah, that's going to be the difference. Then there is also a forest dragon mount. Now there's a significant change from the eagle to the forest dragon mount, and the most significant change is going to come in the form of weapon strength within melee, and there is a considerable armor piercing attack. So more hit points, more armor. You lose 20 speed. The dragon's slower, but you also pick up terror now that the dragon has. And there's another interesting pickup here that you have to take note of, which is a 20% physical resistance. So that's pretty significant. And there's a missile resistance here, I believe, that's picked up. No, the missile resistance is there on all the mounts. So never mind. But yeah, so check this out. So the melee attack on the dragon is poison. That's a big deal. The melee attack is also magical. That's potentially a big deal too if you were fighting against an ethereal unit or ethereal hero. The missile attacks are magical. The weapon strength has a pretty sturdy amount of armor piercing here, 290. And in my testing, just real quick, up against an Empire captain who also has potions and stuff, this Glade Lord on a dragon wins significantly. Up against an Empire general, or General of the Empire on a Griffin. I haven't tested versus Karl Franz, but this guy is no slouch in air-to-air combat in melee, and even on the ground with 450 and pretty solid charge bonus. The charge bonus is not as good as a Griffin, but I mean it's still pretty decent. It's about 30 less, I think, than a Griffin. Anyway, so that's the Glade Lord. Now, again, this lady has a different ability. Her ability is to buff up missile units within a 30-meter radius. So, more of a support unit here in that sense. The other one supports melee. This one supports missile attack. So it kind of lets you pick which one you're looking for. Again, all the mounts are the same. Now, Orion here, I haven't had a lot of time to do any testing with him. So we'll just kind of walk through some of the things that we see on him and talk through what we think that he really is. So in terms of abilities, he's got Frenzy. Now that's pretty cool, obviously, because if your leadership's above 50%, you get a nice boost of melee attack, charge bonus, weapon damage, and you're immune to psychology, so terror won't be a problem. Again, as long as your leadership's up. He's got this right here, which is a Hawk's Talon. It's a bombardment. It says it's strong versus a unit, so like a unit of spears or a unit of great swords or something like that. That's what this is meant to be used on. It's a bombardment spell, and it has a cooldown of 90 seconds. Then he has this vortex spell that he can throw out too. This is kind of like Gehenna's Golden Hounds. You throw it on the ground and these cool little like white wolves start jumping up and they do magical damage. It's pretty cool. Again, 45-second cooldown. This is just going to help him do a lot more damage versus blobs. You know, blob up infantry type stuff. So you can't mount Orion on anything. He's on the ground. Now, he does have a really cool missile attack, and it's got some pretty stiff armor piercing damage here. And he throws this giant spear. It's pretty hilarious. I like it. It's entertaining. Can't wait to show it to you on the battlefield at some point. He throws a giant spear. It's very devastating. The only downside to him is you can't give him a mount, but you can see he has pretty sturdy hit points. You know, he causes terror to other units. He's unbreakable, which is kind of a big deal, being unbreakable. So yeah, fear, terror, unbreakable. He's going to be an interesting unit. He does pretty significant weapon damage here in melee, and then his missile attack is going to be significant as well. Downside of this guy is he's pretty low on armor, so he's going to be pretty susceptible, I think, to I mean, I say that to missile fire, but he's got a 20% resistance on that here. I don't know. This is going to be an interesting guy to feel out. Interesting unit. His speed is actually very fast for being on quote-unquote foot, because he kind of looks like a half goat man or something. His speed is all the way up to 56, which is pretty substantial for a unit on foot. He's going to be an interesting one to feel out. In terms of items, he's got access to Horn of the Wild Hunt, which is a map-wide massive speed and charge bonus boost. Interesting to see what you're going to be able to do with that with the Woodelves, because they're already fast. So to pick up 25% speed, that's a pretty significant gain on some units. So going to be curious to see that. The other one is a thing for himself where he gets 44% damage resistance, and it's only disabled if hit points are, says it's disabled if hit points are greater than 20%. Okay, so what that means is if his hit points go below 20%, he's going to start becoming a little bit tougher towards the end. Now this one, I'd have to kind of test that to feel it out, because you're talking about paying 200 only to make his last 20% of hit points give you 44% resistance. So I mean, I don't know. We'll see. It seems like a big spin, but I'd have to see how it actually plays out. You got the Ancient Tree Man, which is kind of like Durthu light. I say that his lore is, I believe, different than that of Durthu. I believe Durthu comes with the lore of Beast, and this guy's going to come with this new lore here, and I'm going to make sure I get it right. He comes with this one right here, which is the lore of Life. So okay, yeah, this guy's considerably different then. So let's see what his stats look like next to Durthu. And so Durthu's got more hit points, more leadership, more melee attack. Yeah, quite a few differences. Durthu's also got armor piercing melee attack. So, but I mean, this guy is an Ancient Tree Man. Durthu's a Tree Man. So, but I mean, obviously it gives you access to the Lore of Life. What does the Lore of Life involve? Let me just show you real quick. So, Lore of Life is got Awakening of the Wood, which is an explosion of sorts. It's pretty cool, actually. It does like these cool, like magical explosion thing. You can kind of see like what looked like the trees popping up and stuff there. It takes away a ton of speed from a target. You target it on the ground, and it affects all the enemies in range. And it's a 15-meter effect range. It's actually not very big, so it's pretty small. There's no overcast for it either. Earthblood actually replenishes the hit points of a single ally and then all those within a 30-meter radius. So again, pretty small, and it's capped. If you up this, it's a 28-second time period, so you get a little more healing. Flesh to Stone is going to be 30 armor for a single ally. If you up it, it's 45 armor for a single ally. If you go to Shield of Thorns, target on the ground, 45-meter radius, everybody gets better weapon damage and missile resistance. Overcast it, and you pick up greater effect on melee damage, missile resistance. So it goes from 22% to 44%. So interesting. And we'll test all these at some point. I'm just not ready to do it in this video. On this one, again, it's greater replenishment and greater physical resistance, but it only affects one unit. And you can see it's a pretty considerable mana cost on this too, at 12 and then 17 for an overcast. And then the Dwellers Below is a direct damage spell. If we take a look at the overcast, it gives you more range, so 400-meter range. That's pretty cool animation going on with it too. It says causes severe damage to combatants, large explosion area, strong versus multiple combatants. This is kind of like an area effect that you're looking for. There's a chance the opponent will resist, weak versus a single combatant, and it puts a hex on them, it looks like, of 24% speed for 3 seconds. It's not very long, but, you know, interesting. Anyway, so that's the lore of life, and that's the ancient tree man. So it looks like you sacrifice some melee, you know, compared to, say, like Durthu, but you get a different lore that could be used for a different strategy. Now, Durthu comes, again, lore of beast, or lore of, is it lore of wild? No, it's lore of beast. Yeah, lore of beast, my bad. Making sure I get that right. Yeah, it's lore of beast. So he's got the lore of beast, which we should be familiar with. He can raise a manticore. We're gonna have to talk about this though. I'm gonna make a patch notes video tomorrow. Summoned units are very different now, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. I need to talk through that with you because they degenerate over time. But anyway, we're familiar with the spells. This guy is kind of a beast in melee, actually. He is pretty tough. Huge amount of armor piercing damage. Huge. He's weak to fire damage because he's a tree. All of them have like this 40% weakness to fire. But, I mean, you're causing fear. You're causing terror. You got the lore of beast. He has a 20% physical resistance. He's got a 15% missile resistance. Armor piercing attacks. This forest spirit. You know, like, I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff this guy has. He is a pretty tough unit with 100 armor. It's interesting. I've used this guy in a couple of battles. He's pretty awesome. He is one tough tree. Anyway, let's start talking through other units. Waystalker. I haven't gotten a chance to test this unit a whole lot, so let's look through some of the abilities. Holy crap. They can snipe, so this unit can stay hidden while firing, and not a ton of armor piercing damage per se, but really solid missile damage here, over 160 range. And I'm assuming if this is like, yeah, Master Ambusher means that this guy can run and fire while running in any direction, which is pretty slick. Pretty slick indeed. Ability range, 70 meters, armor piercing missile damage. So he can buff other missile units around him. And this one is a special like armor piercing arrow that has 350 range. It's a magic missile thing, so that's kind of cool. Interesting abilities. Let's look at items. No healing for any heroes anymore. Again, that was a change in the patch, so there's no healing potion for heroes. Sorry, Gorble. I know you're not going to be liking that one, but in any case, yeah. So that's the Waystalker, kind of meant to support missile units, which are a big deal for the Wood Elves. You got your Branch Wraith here, which is a caster, a spellcaster. And again, I haven't done extensive testing with the heroes yet. I've spent more of my time looking at infantry and other units. So the Branch Wraith is going to come with the Lore of Shadows, I believe is what this new one is. It is. And Lore of Shadows, just quickly, we'll talk through it. I know this is taking a lot of time, but again, I want to cover this in detail. If you're going to spend your money on this, I want you to know what it is you're getting. So Lore of Shadows here. So Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma. Now that's a mouthful. So this is a direct damage spell. Causes damage to combatants. It's meant to be used against multiple combatants. 200 meter range, 11 second. Takes away speed. Haven't tested all the damage on this. We will at some point. There's character-specific spells. That's cool. We'll have to see who that is that it applies to. Let's see. So here we've got the Enfeebling Foe, which is going to basically take away attack and defense. And it looks to be pretty substantial, but it only affects a single enemy. So this would be like something you want to target against a specific unit that you're wanting to ruin. The Penumbral Pendulum. This is like the someone in an English class spent their time making this up. So this is kind of like Wind of Death in terms of what the mechanics of this spell is. Again, haven't tested the damage yet, but it's there. You can see it's a wind spell that kind of punches through, and when you upgrade it, it does an extended cast range, 400 meters. That's quite a long ways away. Withering is going to take away armor and leadership, and if you upgrade it, it's just an added effect area, which that's pretty sweet what it's going to do. Pit of Shades. This is going to be a vortex spell. Now, vortex spells have been pretty unreliable in the game, but this one's different. Look at that. It grabs a bunch of units in the vortex like that and then kind of explodes. So could this one be potentially useful? Maybe so. Cost a lot of mana, but if you upgrade it, you get extra armor piercing, and it looks freaking awesome. Awesome. I used it on the battlefield a couple of times, like it. And then Occam's Mind Razor. So This is going to be a, oh, why am I missing it here? It's an augment, so it's going to give extra weapon damage and armor piercing, 32 seconds on a single unit, and if you upgrade it, it's going to affect all allies in range. That's pretty sweet, and it also imbues magical damage. That is a big deal. That's pretty sweet, this spell right here. So that's the Branch Wraith. I may be missing a few things on this guy, but then you also have these Spell Slingers. These are really cool units. Really cool units. They kind of like hover up in the air if you don't mount them. They do have some cool mounts. They got an Elven Steed and then this Unicorn here. Unicorn's an interesting mount. It comes with some magic resistance, 40% magic resistance on the Unicorn. It's pretty cool. So you have Spell Slingers that's Lore of Beast, Lore of Shadows, and Lore of Life. So you get access to all these different lores, and you can kind of choose what type of wizard it is you want to bring to support your army. So again, really cool. Really like the hero selection here for the Wood Elves. Let's talk infantry. Eternal Guard, and you have Eternal Guard with shields. These guys are identical except for the Eternal Guard has a shield, as its name would indicate. Both have charged defense against large foes. Both have armor piercing damage that is combined with anti-large damage, which makes them actually very effective versus cavalry. They're not going to be great versus infantry. They will do okay, but they're really not meant for that fight. I haven't tested them extensively versus infantry, but a unit like this, at its cost, will convincingly defeat an Empire Knight, and sometimes even a Right Guard, depending on how well that Empire player was cycle charging and whether you were in the woods and other stuff like that. So they are a Forest Stalker, which means that they get a little bit of a bonus for being in the forest. I don't entirely understand that bonus yet. I've been trying to figure it out, so I can't tell you all the specifics. Dryads are like a creature infantry. Well, they are a creature infantry. They're not like a creature infantry. Creature infantry, magical attacks. So again, these guys would be interesting if you got them up against, say, like a Cairn Wraith or something like that. They're going to ruin it. They are a damage dealing unit. They're not meant to go against armor, so this would be a better unit to throw in if you're going to be up against maybe, say, like Greenskins or Beastmen, where you're not expecting highly armored infantry in large numbers. This would be kind of your go-to unit to be able to cause damage. They do have this benefit down here of having 20% physical resistance, on top of being immune to psychology, which is pretty sweet. So be aware, though, that if you get charged by a bunch of Knights of the Blazing Sun, you're at a 40% weakness to fire, or if there's a Bright Wizard on the field. So watch out. Any of the tree units come with that. Now, let's talk War Dancers. There's two War Dancer units. These are kind of like Berserkers almost for the Wood Elves. High damage, very, very fast for an infantry unit at 48 speed. These War Dancers are more of a anti-infantry War Dancer. They have the melee export, the Shadow Dances of Loek or whatever, which is this. I'm trying to remember exactly. Yeah, I don't know. It says they do a bunch of dancing. I don't really know what that means. I haven't figured it out yet. I did some testing with these particular units. If you'll notice, there is no armor piercing component really to their attack. So these units are going to be better at whipping up on a lot of cheaper units in so small numbers. 60 of these can probably whip up on like 2 swordsman units from the Empire. So they're going to not really be meant for that anti-armor mode. So these are not going to be in there to take out Chaos Warriors or warriors with great weapons or, you know, great swords. Like, that's not going to be their purpose. They're low armor, so they're going to be very, very vulnerable to missiles. But they're fast, very fast. They have this special ability which gives them an extra 20 defense, but it sacrifices 20 attack. I'm not really sure why you would ever want to use that, but it's there. The other War Dancer has an Azrai Spear. These are some very, very potent anti-cavalry units right here with 20 armor piercing damage and a 23 bonus versus large. Again, immune to psychology. They have this missile resistance, which for them, okay, this could be worth it. You sacrifice some melee defense while you're on the approach to keep from getting shot up. So that ability I get. They have charge defense against large, as opposed to their brethren here with the sword. So again, very handy. These units here do a whole lot of damage to cavalry. Very expensive, but they do a lot of damage to cavalry. I have not tested them against monsters yet, though theoretically shouldn't be bad. We'd have to see. Now, Wildwood Rangers are interesting. They're an anti-large unit, so the elves don't really have an anti-armor infantry unit. They just don't have that. You're going to have to find other ways to do it, like bows or you know, good quick cavalry or something like that. So they're not meant to have that ability on the ground. Okay, Wildwood Rangers. So 1,050. These guys get the crap kicked out of them by great swords. Just straight up get the crap kicked out of them. So they're not meant for that fight. Anti-large. I tested them against, say, like a Reichsguard. The performance really wasn't impressive. I mean, they can beat it. They can do some good damage, but they take a ton of damage in return. I'm not really sure what the purpose of this unit is entirely yet. This Guardians of the Wildwood is kind of cool. They get charge defense against large if they're in the woods, and I tested it, and that does work. If they're in the woods, these guys are a little more effective. They're okay as an infantry unit. For a Wood Elf, they're okay in a head-to-head fight, but they don't pay for themselves, obviously. Like, they did quite a bit of damage to a great sword unit, but they didn't beat it, and they cost more. Again, though, that's not what the Elves are supposed to do. They're not supposed to trade like that, so just be aware that even though these guys are like their elite infantry, you're not going to take them head-to-head with other factions' elite infantry and win. So that's their infantry. It's really more focused on taking out enemy cavalry to give you the skirmishing advantage. That's really what their infantry is meant for. Now let's get into some fun stuff. We're going to talk a little bit about some of their specialty like archer units and other stuff here. And I'm running out of time, so I'm going to have to hit their cavalry and monsters on another video because I want to go get a battle in so you can see these guys in battle. So let's talk through. Let's actually call it good for there. I've explained a lot of these units. Let's go ahead and go play a battle. Next time we come back, we're going to talk missile infantry, cavalry, the missile cavalry, and the monsters. There's still very much a lot of interesting stuff here, and I apologize I can't get all this in tonight. I have limited recording time tonight, and I wanted to try and cover details. Like I said, come on back tomorrow, and I'll have more of this for you. Let's go do a quest battle. I did a quest battle with Durthu that was pretty fun. This Sword of Daith. Let's take a look at Orion on the battlefield. That'll be fun. So let's see, Defense of the Oak. I don't know which of these would actually come first, but let's just pick one here. The Silver Spire. Who are we up against in each one of these? So this one's against Beastmen. That one's against other elves. This one is also against other elves. And then this one's against beastmen. Let's take this Horn of the Wild. This one might be fun. Alright, so let's take a look at, we're up against Cloven Blackhorn here. It says the herd and Morghur with it had no idea that Orion and his warriors had located and infiltrated their secret beast paths, and so the elves descend upon them with pride and vengeance in their heart. However, they are deep within enemy territory and do not know from which direction further beastmen may come to aid their brothers and forestall elven vengeance. And so Orion must be swift, he must be strong, and above all, he must be furious. Let the rage of the ancient forest of Athaloran rain destruction upon these calamitous fiends, that they may never darken the forest once again. I'm going to just leave it on normal. Let's just play, because this is more just to let you see some of their units in combat. Looks like we got Orion, we got a Lore of Life, spell, or I can't remember what they're called there. We got, looks like a line of Eternal Guard, a couple Wildwood Rangers. Now that's interesting. We got one unit. Or here, listen to the speech.
These beasts call themselves hunters. Ha! Do they not know they face Orion, master of the wild hunt? Their auras cannot protect them now, for I am charged with the spirit of Kurnos. Rage and destruction flow through me. Fall upon them as the howling winds fall upon the winter leaves. Show them that nothing can stand before the fury of the storm!
Sounding good, Orion. Sounding good. Good way to get people hyped up. Wood Elf hype right there. Alright. Let's take a look at the force that we've been given and any key units. So right here, these Glade Guard have Starfire Shafts. Starfire Shafts do significant armor piercing damage. And they also do magical and flaming damage. Wild Riders, these are some pretty solid cavalry. I'm liking these guys. And then we got some Glade Riders, which are a missile cavalry with Hagbane tips. So these are poison arrows that they fire. So that's going to be what we have to work with. I don't know what we're up against on the Beastmen, so I'm thinking this looks like a nice position to do some work from their arrows. That is a sweet map back here. I don't know what this thing is, but that's one heck of a bonfire. Let's see, are we attacking? Yeah, you'll lose if time runs out, so we have to attack. Let's see maybe if we can... So Eternal Guard is all kind of good anti-large stuff. We got one War Dancer that'll kind of be anti-infantry, and these guys will be kind of anti-infantry versus the Beastmen. All the archers for the Wood Elves can fire while moving. Some of them in all directions, but the ones that I have here do not fire in all directions. Let's see, Wild Riders, what do we got here? A little bit of terrain. Get these Hagbane tip guys out here and see if we can do some work. Let's see what spells we get. Awakening the Wood, so it's a magical explosion. And then we've got Earth Blood, which is going to replenish hit points. Okay, alright. Now again, remember, taking a straight up fight, probably not always the most advisable path with the Wood Elves here. Let's see what we can do about some skirmishing. Yeah, check out this Spell Singer here. So yeah, she kind of like floats above the ground. It's pretty sweet. Really sweet, actually. Let's see what happens. If we can lure the Beastmen into an attack with our... yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So, kill the Brave Shame and his influence over the herd cannot be overstated. Let's see if we can lure the Beastmen forward. Their cavalry and set up a defense here. And let's put these guys to skirmish. Should be able to do some. And let's see, let's get Orion. Pull the melee units up there. Is there another entrance from over here? There is. Alright, let's see if we can take the defensive position and force the Beastmen to attack us. I want to use these Hagbane tips to do some damage back here to the Chaos Spawn and the Brave Shaman. Check out the arrow effects on the Elves. They have some really cool looking like missile effects. Okay, so let's get everybody up here. Wild Riders. Alright. The Wood Elves are gonna challenge my micro ability, that's for sure. Looks like the Beastmen are going to attack me, so I'm going to make use of the defensive position because, again, I don't want to go head-to-head with other factions' infantry. I want to try and use maneuverability and long range to my advantage. You can see I'm going to be able to do a lot of damage to the Beastmen units back here. I wonder if I should... There we go. Try and attack the Beastlord. I may just keep doing damage to the Chaos Spawn. Okay, so they are going to attack me in this position, so let's get a little bit of backup, get the War Dancers over here. Got another warrior. Yeah, look at our bows. Our bows are going to be able to be effective and stay guarded up here. Let's work on taking out the Beastmen missiles because they could be significant damage to our men. And let's get Orion. Where did he get to? Let's bring Orion over here. What? How did my guys get caught back here on skirmish? There's no reason for this. My guys were on skirmish and they got caught by Chaos Spawn, which don't have anywhere near the speed. That's frustrating. I knew I should go check, and it was a good thing I did. Now what's happened? Oh, these guys got damaged by enemy missiles when I wasn't paying attention. There you go. So now you know why the micro is going to be challenging for me. And let's get some of these Dryads here. Okay, Orion's in the fight. Okay, they got some of their guys around me here because I wasn't positioned well. Let's try and come in for a rear attack. One to go take out the bows. Move up here with the other. Just move these guys back up here. We got Dryads going in his backup. Let's bring our War Dancers in. Let's try and outflank. Okay, Wild Riders knock those guys out, no problem. Let's swing these guys around and do some rear charges. Got a sweet rear charge coming in here with the Wild Riders. They are pretty effective. Let's bring some of this infantry in as well. Try and overwhelm the beastmen in this vicinity. It looks like we're going to succeed. How am I getting caught back here when in skirmish? This is completely inexplicable and unacceptable that a unit in skirmish like this would be caught by Chaos Spawn when it has 95 speed. So its inability to skirmish there is completely unacceptable. So that's going to be interesting. If the Wood Elves are supposed to be a skirmish faction and the skirmish function doesn't work, Creative Assembly, please. What's the deal? Let's do some healing. We need to go help out my Spell Dancer here, or Spell Singer. She likes to dance too. My cavalry over here is getting shot because I was busy giving you close-ups elsewhere. Let's get a rear charge on the Beastmen infantry. Should be able to shut them down right here. Because we cause fear with this cavalry. Okay, so it looks like we've pretty much shut down the main portion of the Beastmen assault. Got a few of my guys, and there's going to be some reinforcing beastmen coming from over here. Ooh, Cygor, huh? And Centigors. Let's see whether or not I've taken too much damage. Orion's taking out some Warherds with shields over here. Let's help him out. So, yeah, if I would have managed it better, obviously these Glade Riders with the Hagbane tips could have done a whole lot more work. And then these cavalry wouldn't have gotten so damaged from these Ungor Raiders. But the defensive positions seem to work out fairly well for me. Let's get our Wild Riders engaged. Yeah, that other unit just routed. Let's take Orion and try and get some hits on these guys here. Okay, so some of their guys can come back from routing. Let's take our missile units, which I shouldn't have let the missile units get caught here, and our unit with Starfire shafts got caught too, which is bad news. Shouldn't have let that happen either. Let's start shooting the Chaos Spawn. Let's take a unit of the Wildwood Rangers. We should be able to try and shut down these two regrouping units, and let's swing some of this stuff back over here.
You have my forever loyal. Orion.
And I forgot to use some of these bombardment spells too. Let's use it here just to show it. And we got the golden hound, or these hounds that are probably going to do more damage to my own men. But again, I just want you to see the spells. There's the bombardment. There's the hounds. Like I said, it's like Gehenna's golden hound. So yeah, not a great use of it. It would have been very useful against the infantry blob. So that was a huge miss on my part. Oh wow, my guys just got straight up flattened by these regrouped infantry. Let's bring the Dryads in here. I'm starting to lose actually, just on the power bar. Ha! Yeah, we're gonna lose. So the key here with the Elves, so remember I said that they have to be used like in a more skirmishy manner, and I didn't do that here. So let's concede defeat on that. We're clearly going to lose that, and again that was on an easier difficulty setting. So again, I didn't use them proper. Some of their units got used right, some did not. Let's take a look at that battle again, like say for instance, to give you a quick idea of, you know, had things been done differently, what does it look like if you manage your guys better or something like that. So my bowmen were kind of misused there, and I didn't do enough damage to the enemy infantry before I engaged them. So lesson learned. Lesson learned. At least I think lesson learned.
Armed and ready.
Let's just kind of get some stuff put together here. Spell Singer, keep her back safe. Bunch of archers. Got some ideas on what to do differently here. because these guys are going to do most of our infantry damage. Okay, alright, let's try something a little bit different. Still going to take these guys up to do some harassment. But let's make sure Orion gets some more work done this time too.
Orders acknowledged. Right.
This time I'm going to actually micro my missile cavalry. So let's see how that plays out. Alright.
Glade riders.
Let's
At speed.
actually micro these guys around. Oh wait, we got their Ungor Raiders, so let's pull away, pull away, pull away.
Swiftly.
There we go. Get out of the range of their Ungor Raiders.
At once.
Okay, yeah, we're out at a safe distance.
Without delay.
Again, let's just try and do a little bit of missile damage here, and then I'm going to try and get the
Hurry.
Chaos Spawn busy again. Only took very minor damage there, fortunately.
Armed and ready.
So we got to take out the Lord here for the Beastmen. That's going to be the way to win.
Now.
Okay, the Ungor Raiders are not firing at me. I'm just going to keep pestering the flank over here.
Hold fire.
Let's get the Chaos Spawn. So those are going to be dangerous to me. Pull back.
Riders.
Let's go back in their fire wheel. Kind of keep pulling these guys. Actually, let's pull them back this way. Let's pull them further away from the battle.
King in the woods.
And let's go run some disruption here.
Cavalry.
Just gonna pull these guys back over.
Asray riders.
I want to bring these cavalry in down the center and try and damage up some of their infantry.
Ever ready. Quickly.
Let's pull back out of there.
Swift.
I don't know if that was worth it though, because my guys are getting horribly damaged. I figured they'd do a lot more damage on the charge.
Now. With haste.
Did let my archers get some pretty serious work done though.
Ever ready.
Let's pull these guys further back up here.
Wild riders.
Riders out. Let's pull Orion back. Let's throw some Dryads into this fight, because that's the kind of fight they're going to want. Now that we got these guys blobbed up, drop a bombardment spell. Same thing here. Okay, let's use our speed to outflank down both sides. Pull our blobs of missiles back over here. Orion should be able to finish these guys. Dryads did the damage. Orion did some pretty good damage.
Eternal God. Orders. Aye. Eternal God.
Had
Straight
them fully
away.
outflanked there. Get rid of the Ungor spears. Remember that I got units back here. Let's see if we can micro.
Wild
Pull up our
riders.
magic. Get some healing going.
Wild bird riders. Armed and ready.
Start chasing the foes off position. Hit from behind. Bring Orion in.
Wild bird
Hit from behind. Okay, now we're talking. See, little more maneuverability here, and we're in good shape. Wild Riders should be able to take care of the foes at this point, so let's pull back.
Eternal God.
So Eternal Guard to clean house here.
Wild Rangers.
Alright. Busted up the rest of this infantry blob, so now we have the Beastmen, I think, kind of where we want them. Wow, these guys are... What are they getting hit by? It's like we're losing hit points without actually... Are they shooting each other, maybe? I don't know what the deal is. Or they're just getting caught in melee some. Okay, there's going to be more Beastmen coming into play. We need to get rid of the routing Beastmen, so we're going to use our Wild Riders to try and shatter all the remaining Beastmen. Just going to try and keep hitting the regrouped units. Wild Riders keep shattering. Okay, yeah. Alright, so Cygor is going to come in. So anyway, you can see that infantry fight worked out a lot better when we had a plan kind of for dishing the damage in a more unorthodox fashion than the original engagement I had, where I was trying to depend too much on just sheer infantry strength to carry the day for me. Again, we're going to try and shatter all these units. Let's get our bows together. Let's pull our Wild Riders away from these Centigors. This guy's on skirmish again, whether or not it works. Okay, the problem we still have on this battle is that the Beastlord's still very much alive. You can see my archers there firing whilst moving. I'm gonna... What is this? Corruptor of Shadowgrave? What? Why are my guys just like losing hit points? Corruptor of the Shadowgrave. Where does that even come from? My guys are like literally just dying over time. I can't say that I fully understand that. Yeah, look at that. Corruptor of the Shadowgrave. Who puts that on me? All my units are withering. Interesting. So I'm gonna lose regardless. That's kind of frustrating, actually, is it? It's like all my infantry are just completely falling apart. I don't understand what that effect is and why it's impacting every single one of my units. Like, every single one of my units is slowly falling apart. That is really weird. If anybody understands that, let me know. Because it's kind of a problem. I don't think Orion can tank this one out on his own. Now, that's really weird. So apparently I just need to win this battle faster if I was going to win it. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know what that ability represents or why, but it sure is annoying. Yeah, I don't think Orion pulls this one out. Let's fast forward and just see what happens. He is pretty beastly, though. I'll give him credit. He's standing up to some pretty serious resistance here. Uses spells and everything else to try and keep damaging my opponents because he's unbreakable. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Another bombardment. You got a lot of work done. Got 70 kills. Drove off some of these guys, but that is weird. I wonder what that Shadowgrave thing, or I don't know what that was. I hadn't seen that previously. Anyway, we're going to lose. I'll have to take a look at this one, but I mean, that original fight went better for me. I thought I had that one wrapped up until my guys just started falling apart. Warherd of the Shadowgrave. Wasn't that called Shadowgrave? Was that something that they were inflicting on me? Battles, custom battle, because they're a new faction here. It's got to be something. That is brutal, whatever that ability was. Visions, chaos, abilities. I don't see it there. Aura of transmutations, damage. Huh. Aura of the Shadowgrave. That's odd. Like I said, if someone understands that, let me know what it is. I have no idea what that was. I figured maybe it was a special ability on like their Beastlord or something. But I sure don't see it. Over here in the items, maybe? No? Huh. Yeah. I'm stumped. What do y'all think of the Woodelves, though? I'm excited. It's a fun faction. Looks like it's going to kind of make me relearn how I like to play the game with some of these, so I'm actually really excited about it. I'm looking forward to the comments. Hopefully this video is informative. I know it's not complete. We need to talk about the patch notes. We need to talk about the rest of the Elf faction. We need to talk about campaign. That's all coming. Stay tuned. HeirofCarthage signing out for now.